An ostrich is self-tamed. Hallelujah. Murder immediately. All right, we got our first mad iguana. What is that? A Tesla gun. Crop rotations. It's the business. We're playing Rimworld now. I haven't played this in a bit. It's time to live out my evil corporate dreams and build my own evil empire on the outer rims of space. So let's get into it. I had a custom message for the start of this scenario, but it doesn't want to play nicely with prepare carefully. So make one up in your heads. First things first, arm the goons. Now let's examine the situation here. A lot of exposed steel, some marble, chunks of granite and marble everywhere, a couple of exposed geothermal vents, a few dromedaries. I like this area to be the one we build in because we're surrounded by, and then just ferry it over and use this as my enclosed space. Block off these walls. We've only got like one choke point we really have to worry about. We can maybe consider building like a kill box in there. So we got a lot of rice, a smaller amount of potatoes. In fact, no, we'll do that the other way around. That's probably a better idea. Potatoes take longer to grow than rice. I'm sure this is all the interesting evil science you've come to expect. Crop rotations. It's the business. This is marble. So what we'll probably want to do as well is set up some sort of marble brick production process. What is that? A Tesla gun? Who's the best shot? They're actually all a pretty good shot. We've already found an ancient danger. That's cool. So there's going to be something dangerous in this building, so we won't bother them right now until we have a better position. Cool. Now, because there's lots of exposed steel, I'm going to build the beds out of steel, well as a table, some dining chairs. And we're going to build the structure of marble because we seem to have tons of that right now. Why do we get a club? Where are all these random weapons coming from? Now, to give us a slight advantage in this early game, I've got the tilt soil mod, which will mean that we can actually get a little bit more in the way of fertility from these little patches. So much maths in the early game, it is mad. Next thing we're going to want is some power, and I'm going to build a good old-fashioned wind turbine for that just now. Then we got a manager desk here and a research desk. Don't want this out of wood. When will I learn? Robbins and Kiko are now lovers. Robbins flirted with Kiko by jokingly poking at his mining skill. Wow. If I knew that was how we could flirt, I could buy some yayo. No, I could sell some yayo. Where did the yayo come from? A bunch of weird stuff out of this landing. The last thing I need is an android pod. The reason I want an android pod is we can have an android. You know, say what you see. But if we hook him up to an android pod, it means he's not going to eat any of our food, which I think is, you know, pretty important right about now. That's basically it for the very early portion here. So all we really have to do is clog up these choke points. Maybe start a small dromedary farm. See, with the tilled soil, we're now at 200% fertility. That is the business. All right, we got our first mad iguana. That was easy. The last thing we really need to do at this part of the process is build ourselves a fridge, somewhere to keep all of our foodstuffs and medicines until we have more adequate provisions. So I'm going to get started on that pretty quickly now. We're in a very hot climate right now, so I imagine this is really going to be quite important. We've even more or less got our first rice crop. That's amazing. Since it looks like you'll be here for a while, Robin thinks that you should give your faction a name. What should your faction be called? Evil Empire. Settlement name. I think I'll call not evil, honest. That name isn't valid. They're here. Let's talk about valid. An ostrich is self-tamed. Hallelujah. Murder immediately. I want Riggs to be basically permanently researching right now. We need batteries and we need solar panels. Another ostrich self-tamed. Wow, it's big ostrich arrows over here. All right, we got our first raid from the Sayo Treaty. One person, their name is Goose. They've literally brought a knife to a gunfight. Don't like their odds, but just in case, make them a little sleeping spot in the fridge. Now, what I've done here is I put a nutrient paste dispenser kind of almost in the fridge, and that will make sense eventually. You gotta trust me on this one. I've got a plan. Kiko and Robbins are getting married. That will only end in tears. I'm absolutely certain of it. The raid is on. We're going to just hook ourselves up here. Wow, you came from the wrong side. It's a little rude of you, Goose. Let's see if we can just tend you on the spot. No, you died. Oh well, that didn't work. Thanks for the jade, I guess. And you'll notice what my plan was here is that I want to build my prison barracks, which will be this part here, onto a fridge so that they can just be fed nutrient paste instead of having to be fed meals. See, it's just logic. Last thing we'll do just for this episode is build ourselves an electric stove just to make colonist meals. Oh, that's another thing I need to do. So I forgot that I have Dub's bad hygiene on, which means I need toilets. Psychic soothe for females. That's useful. It's like half my colony. Excellent. Is Gerald female? He's a boy robot. Don't get into all that girly stuff. Right, we have ourselves an enclosed space. That means we can set this up as a prisoner room. Last thing we'll do is we'll set up a lamp to be built in there. That's brilliant. That's more or less everything we need to do. That's the beginnings of a pretty reasonable colony there. We got our own little barracks. We've got a fridge with a cooking table. We've got nutrient paste for our prisoners. We will need to make another room which will be just for slaves. And I'll get to that in the next episode. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and as always, thanks for hanging out.